What's up, people? It's time for the Sunday sermon. We haven't had one of those in a minute. Just so you know, we're streaming on Facebook, we're streaming on YouTube, and we're streaming on Instagram today. I don't know why I got to be in my bonnet. So I decided to stream to all these locations at one time. So, in case you think this is going to be something about religion and the Bible or some other religion, no, we call it the Sunday sermon because it is a talk, but it's a relationships-based talk to people to get their minds and hearts right. So the principle about a sermon, to educate you, bring you along, develop you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, is the same. The only difference is I'm preaching about how you need to be responsible for the choices that you make and how to make smarter ones. So that's what we teach on this channel, is how to do your relationships in a way that's smarter so that you don't end up getting your head bumped, which makes things in life just harder. Okay. So what we're going to do tonight is go over a collection of, I think it's close to 200 things that I collected from people, from posts that I made over the years, from websites, and from video comments that are on this channel. And I've compiled them all together. It took me several months, but people admit to the stupid mistakes that they've made. And one of them is, it's from out the gate. They notice that the person that they're dealing with has red flags, and there's red flags waving. Sometimes it's just one or two, but sometimes it's like a whole damn parade of red flags. And for some reason, they just move forward anyway, and instead of just deucing out and saying, "Oh, this ain't gonna work." I can't understand it, but if you have some ideas about that, I would sure love to hear them. I'm going to invite people to call in today, which I usually don't, but I will be posting this link for you to use throughout the show. I don't know if it's gonna display on the other channels, but that's the link. I think you can get it from anywhere. You don't have to be on YouTube to use it. Just do audio. You don't need to be on camera. I will actually turn your camera off to help you protect your privacy while you spill your guts and tell all your business. But the goal is, let me find this little slide here. This is the goal. What I would like you guys to do, to think about as we go through this show, and I start telling what other people, the stupid mistakes other people made. So you think about this. What red flags did you ignore, and why did you ignore them? And then you think about, if you don't mind sharing, of course, this is all volunteer. What things did you go through with that person after you ignored those red flags? Usually it's something that, bumped your head and taught you a very valuable life lesson. So you'd be like, oh, shoot, I'm not doing that again. What do you know now that you didn't know then? This is something that's very common with people involved are very young in the relationships, don't have much relationship experience. They don't recognize a red flag. They just think it's something, that can be worked out, that the person will change, that love will make them different, that they were that way with someone else, but they're not going to be that way with them. They have all these romantic fantasies associated with it, but it's not strictly, but primarily based on the fact that they don't know better. Okay, so If you, want to share what you learned as you've gone through life and life has bumped your head, please feel free to do that. And basically any wisdom that you have to share with others about red flags and the dating choices that you have made in the past that you will never ever ever make again. And I'll be having this sign up. As a matter of fact, let me see how I can do this. I think I can. I don't know how to do this. I have to figure out how to, because I want to show the slide at the same time, but I might not be able to do that. So anyway, let me get started with these things here. Remember, you can call in. I'll post the card up with all the instructions. You want to share any stories you have about red flags that you experienced or that you ignored, or what you didn't know was a red flag when you was a youngster, but now you do. You wiser and older now. Okay, Ash is confessing. Ash is the first one at the pulpit. Ash is saying that she gave too many chances, thinking it might be better. Yep, that is a very common one. Sliver says she got a window seat. I know that's right. Thanks, Ash, for that. That was a good one. Okay, let's get started with some of these things that these people shared. Okay, number one, he said, "I will break you down in order to rebuild you." I thought he was kidding because who does that? She said, but he wasn't kidding. He was warning her. Remember how I tell y'all that men will tell you who they are early on, but y'all don't seem to want to pay attention? They always tell you. They always let it out because they feel like at that point they don't have anything to lose. So they just tell you. You ask them questions or whatever, they're going to give you the answer. And they'll give you answers about stuff that you haven't even asked them. But y'all don't want to hear it. You ain't trying to hear it because it conflicts with your fantasy of a relationship with this person. So he telling you what kind of clown and dusty he is, and you'll just be like, oh, well, it'll be different. Yeah, that it becomes involved in it if they stay in a relationship. You're right, Sliver. And some of these people, you'll see where that is definitely the issue. Okay, number two, she says, we were driving together and I was complaining about a coworker. I don't remember what happened exactly, but I was kind of upset. And after a minute or so, he suddenly yelled at me while also hitting his hands on the steering wheel. Quote, we're not here to bitch about XX. I remember thinking I should ask him to pull over and just get out of this car and leave, but I didn't. At 3 years of increasingly worsening emotional abuse ensued. See? So early on, he showed her who he was. She saw it. She had the correct thinking about it to just like, oh, hell to the no. But for some reason, which I don't understand, like I said, I'm be looking for you guys to, that might have some insight to explain it to me. What is it that you think makes these women stay in these situations? I can only come up with one thing. I did a video about it. I'll talk about it in a little bit. Point number three, and I got 100, like I said, it's close to 200 of these. I put 150 on the thumbnail, but it's way more than that. He was blackout drunk and tried sawing my arm with a steak knife at Buffalo Wild Wings. Okay, so she had two major red flags. Number one, he gets blackout drunk in public, no less. And number two, when he does, instead of being a happy drunk, he wants to start committing violence, like sawing people's limbs off and whatnot. Okay. What in the world? Let's see what she did. Pulpit appearance number two. I was regularly cursed out and belittled, and it triggered enough to respond and pop in the mouth. So I ended up in an abusive relationship. I remember thinking I'm expecting better from him than what I was used to at home. Oh boy. Yeah, that happens a lot, and I think you hit on something. A lot of it is is what you're used to in the environment that you grew up, and that's very unfortunate that so many young women are used to being verbally and emotionally abused. That to them that feels normal. They don't even question it. Um, yeah, I remember when I was writing my book, and I know I told you guys a story, but it just triggered when I was writing my book about the Black church. and how the guy who I was dealing with at the time, he could take me to lunch, and I was going to show him, the draft. I mean, it was like one of the first drafts. But I'm all excited, I'm getting all these quotes from people about their church experiences and all this stuff. So he flips through it and he says, "Well, I never experienced anything like that." These, like, implying that the women that were telling me the stuff were lying. I never experienced it. And so then I'm sitting there and I'm looking at them. I'm thinking, motherfucker, who cares what you experienced? Do you even go to church? But I didn't say that because we're in public. So I just said, well, they did, and you aren't in a position to. You don't even know these people, so you aren't in a position to discount what their experiences are. Okay, let's not do that. So I'm trying to be patient with this fool because like I said, we in public. So then he gonna double down, and so he's like, he throws the draft, the manuscript, across the table with this like dismissive wrist flip thing, and tells me that it's not gonna be the book's not gonna make any sense, and nobody's gonna read it, and that those things don't happen, and that's not how churches are, and this whole thing, like, because he said it, he discounted millions of people's experiences in these institutions of religion. Okay, because after I finished that book is when all the Eddie Long stuff, the Creflo Dollar stuff, and all that stuff with Joel Longstein, all of that broke after I finished my book. I mean, within a few months. So it was like bam, 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 validation for what I had just published. And for those of you who want to read it, it's called The Black Church, where women pray, Pray, and men pray, Prey, and you can get it on Amazon. Oh yeah, girl. I not only did I check him, I got up and I totally didn't even think about the fact that we was in public anymore. I cussed his motherfucking ass out. I was doing all this kind of stuff here and doing the sister network and the whole nine. And then I got in my car and I left, and that was the last time I saw him. Have not talked to that fool since. He called me and texted me a couple of times. I looked at that number, and then after that I blocked him. You know, I just, you're not going to talk to me like that. You're not going to discount my work, and you're not going to discount the experiences of any other woman, not on my watch, because these things happen to women. And we get sick of men telling us, that, well, because it didn't happen to me. Do you have a coochie? Do you have tatas? Are you 5'2"? So the answer to all those questions is no. So the experience that a woman is going to have is completely different from what you're going to have as a dude. Okay? Until you're behind goals and you a dude and you up in prison, well, then you might get to experience some of the stuff that we experience. Because like they had these prison channels on YouTube, and it gets really gross and graphic. I'm not going to talk about it, but that they experience the same kind of harassment and assaults that women do in the streets. They experience it in that environment. And so then that shuts them up. But it's, in their mind, since it didn't happen to them, then it didn't happen, and it's not real, and women are making it up. Let's see what's going on here. Until he switched up. He was dating to get over his ex. See, a shrink, fool. Wow. Interesting. Yeah, I think that too. They don't want to take, be accountable, because then it'll mean like the stuff that women say to men ain't shit, and they're like, what's her name? Trey Michelle, whatever her name was, said that men aren't nice people, aren't good people. It would be true. They would have to agree with us, and so they would feel like they're being traitors to other men. But it's like, there's garbage people of all races and ages and cultures and everything, and then there's decent people. Because you don't align with everybody, say that you're on everybody's team, and you say, well, I'm not dealing with them folks over there. That's an appropriate response. So, but instead they'd be like, well, you say all that, all men. We never said all men. We said men to do that. But they get so defensive, Yeah, they do. And I don't understand why. But anyway, let me get back to this topic here. So what we're talking about is red flags. And if you want to share your story, you can do that. These are the kind of things I would invite you to share, either in the chat or you can call in. I will put the link so that you can be on the audio portion of this recording. You will not be on video, so don't worry about showing your face. You just have to, and the name that you type in doesn't have to be your real one either. It's just what I'm going to use to identify you when I, and pick up your call. But this is the link. It's a VoIP line, so you just click it. Hey, Brett. And she's going to be my co-host on Friday for the next DNN, Miss Raquel. So Yeah, let's get this going. I got a lot to cover here. Okay, so he was white blackout drunk. Okay, so I see. I started talking before I even finished the sentence. It was point number 4: diminish my achievements out of jealousy. That's why I brought up the story. I read it, but I didn't read it to you. That's why I brought up the story about the guy talking about my book. And then point number 5, this girl says, yes, this, I loved my job. He cut it down. I really like myself as a person. He made fun of me for doing that. I love to work out because I love the results. He told me I did it too much. Everything that I like, he tried to tear it down. That is a manipulation tactic and a control move. It's like he couldn't have me feeling good about myself and my life. It's sad and over. Good for her. She got rid of his stupid behind. Number 6, I playfully punched his shoulder. He punched me with the same amount of proportional force for his size. But of course, he's much bigger, so naturally I flew back into a wall. He gave me a look and said, now we're equal. Turns out he was wildly abusive, culminating in hitting me in the head while pregnant with our baby 5 years later. 3 years later, I'm sorry. Okay, what I wanted to ask her, but I never got around to it, is okay, this guy showed you, he hit you with force that knocked you into a wall over a playful little woman punch on the shoulder, and then you stayed with him, and not only stayed with him, but let yourself get pregnant by him. Why did you do? See what I mean? I don't understand what's going on with these women and what the decision making process here is very disturbing to me. It's like, what the hell are you doing? This your first live? Oh my God. Let me see what she got. A red flag too. When your man's friend, okay, gets jealous whenever you get affection. So whenever you get hugs and kisses, he has to get a hug and kiss too. What? What kind of toddler is that? Good Lord. All right, let's move on to this one. Number 7, saying that they have a hard time expressing their feelings and communicating. Not is not always a red flag, but this person has severe avoidant attachment and treated me terribly when we were together. Basically, refusing to work things out in a healthy way, and would instead brush it off with a brief story showing zero understanding of the damage he's done, the situation at hand, or the hurt I felt. Instead of solving it, he would love bomb me with gifts I didn't want, and we didn't have problems often, but he was odd regarding other women, and it was kind of an afterthought to him. So I don't think that it always applies, but if they say that they're bad at communicating, most people don't want to grow with you and do better to be healthy. So what does that mean though, ladies? If a man tells you that he's bad at communicating, how would you interpret that? What would that what rule from this channel would that go against? Come on now. So, I'm being like a teacher here. This is the Sunday sermon, right? Don't they ask you questions when you're in church? They ask you to recall different passages and reflect on stuff. This goes back to my 3 guidelines for a relationship, the 3 foundational principles of any relationship. What did I say? There must be respect. The man must be willing to give you the relationship that you need to feel safe and secure and loved, and then he has to be a man of his word. So you can depend on him and count on him. If you don't have those 3 things in your relationships, your friendships, anything, any kind of relationship, but we talk about romantic relationships on the channel for the most part. So he doesn't have those 3 things, then the relationship is going to fail. Whether it fails early or fails late, is not gonna ever work. You're gonna feel stupid and sick when you finally wake up and smell the rotten eggs and get the hell away from that food. So a man who tells you up front that I'm not good at communicating, what does that mean? This is when you put your thinking cap on and the Jeopardy music plays. Do, 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 do. That means that he is incapable of giving you the relationship that you need to feel safe and secure and loved. That's what that means. So what should you do? You should say, thank you for telling me that. I appreciate your candor, and I'm gonna deuce out on you because I need a man who's good at communicating. Because that's going to be the basis for us to grow together. You're not good at it, and you're not telling me how you're trying to get better at it. So I'm gonna just leave you alone. We can be friends or something. We see each other out at the club, at the bar, or whatever. I'll say hello, but we're not going to be involved any further than where we are right now. Yeah, there's a short video on. There's a short on it, and it's like the 3 things you need to have in a relationship. That's what I call. I pulled it out from another video because to me it was so important that people get that message, because so many young girls don't seem to understand it. They make all these excuses, go through all these changes, do all these dances with these dudes, but then those three principles are not even at play in the relationship. And they be going through all the, oh, how can I save it? How can I make this work? It's never going to work if you don't have them three principles, and plus, whatever else you want. But I'm just saying those are the three core things that every single successful long-term relationship absolutely must have. If you don't have respect, you don't have a man who you can count on and depend on and who's a man of his word, and you don't have a man who does what he needs to do to make you feel safe and secure in the relationship, then what the hell are you doing there? What you doing? There you go. Thank you, honey. Tony typed it out. I'll put it across the screen. That's it. And respect is a big umbrella, because it's not just respect for you, respect for your relationship, any vows that you've taken, any children that you have, he treats them with respect. He treats your property with respect. So the respect is a big umbrella. Each one of these is actually a big umbrella. But I would, did the drill down thing to make it easy for you to, make it easy for you guys to remember. Okay, so it's those three things. So let's move on our list. That was really sad. Number 8, she says he had a history of domestic violence from 9 years before, and told me that he had changed. Long story short, I became the next victim. I finally found the courage to leave. I ended up having to go to Canada to stay with family because I was so afraid that he would find me and K me. Okay, so she knew he had a history of domestic violence and she dealt with him anyway. Why would you do that? I don't care if you say you changed or not. Because the fact that you thought that was a good solution to whatever frustration you were experiencing in that relationship shows me that you are stupid. And I don't deal with stupid people. Okay, you got to get away from me. Don't even talk to me. Don't stand too close to me. Don't even look at me too hard. So number 9, she says he got mad and smashed my guitar within the first month. Okay, the fact that she said first month means that there was more than 1 month of that. Because wouldn't that have been the end? You smash my guitar, we go in the small claims court and you're going to buy me another one, motherfucker. That's what's going to happen. I don't care if you're going to sell your car and everything you own. You're going to replace my guitar because you shouldn't have touched it. Wow. You think so? I don't know. I mean, that's a little too young for me to be trying to mess with, but um, I've heard that. What is that? Is that Gen X? So let me move on. Okay, he smashed guitar. So number 10, he says, I overlooked her crazy eyes, but I definitely noticed them early, but he overlooked them. Number 11, super quick to count other people's money. I'd mention someone and she'd comment on money or something that they owned or bought. I'm not young and naive anymore, so I was out real quick. That's right. Number 12, constantly talking about how honest and loyal he is. I mean, if someone is actually honest and loyal, they don't need to tell you about it, right? That's right. Because their behavior shines and so bright you see it for yourself. They don't need to try to promote and brainwash you by saying it repeatedly. Number 13, yeah, just like my ex always said how he would, quote, never hurt me, huh? Number 14, one of my exes used to say, I'm not a dishonest man, while acting definitely shady as fuck about everything. Guess what? He was a dishonest man. Of course he was. Like I said, they always tell you. They tell you up front who they are. You just have to listen and be able to understand what you're hearing. Number 15, he was extremely jealous of my ex-husband. Ex-husband. Number 16, she says, I didn't want him to know where I worked when we first started dating. Plus, I was embarrassed about my low-paying job while him and his loved ones constantly bragged about their jobs and titles. He admittedly found out that I lied, but what made it more hurtful is that he told everyone in his friends, family, and work environment, which is well over 100 people. I'm a very private person that likes to open up on my own terms, and I told him I would. He was pushy about it, however, and disrespected me. His friends and family members got involved, found out where I worked, and would call my job to confirm where I worked. And his, quote, work mom came by to beat me up simply because her, quote, friend was being lied to. Wow. Everyone that was harassing me was on their work clock, mind you, while making these calls and coming to my job. I hid in the bathroom for over an hour to get away from her after someone confirmed that someone from his job was looking for me. I eventually left that job a few months after that because coworkers found out and figured if I let him walk over me and disrespect me, they could do it too. But Deb, I love that job and my coworkers, but it was overwhelming of who not to trust and being judged or who I was falling for. Also knowing I had a legal case against both him and his company for exposing my information, but choosing to let it go to continue our relationship, which I can now say was a huge mistake. Why would you let that go? Interesting. Oh, those are millennials? Okay. Wow. She says here isolated incidents. Hmm. I don't care if it happened half the time. That's too much. You don't put your hands on me. But we ain't doing that. Okay, so let's look and let's see what the next one is. Well, she had a long story. Okay. Number 17, high alcohol consumption and D use. And this one came up multiple times. I mean, I just put it once on the list, but it came up more, I mean, probably about 30 different times that, and it was men and women, but most of the women said that, the guys were drunks and they were druggies. And that came up, like I said, many times. Number 18, when she would talk for hours about her day and get distracted after only 1 minute of me talking about mine. Wow. 19, him controlling me immediately, trying to tell me what to do, what to wear, etc. I mistook it for him caring. That was a big mistake. But that's often the case when people are really young. They don't know, they don't recognize those types of behaviors for what they are. The guy saying, well, I don't think you should wear that. And they'd be like, oh, really? Well, and then he'll say, well, you should change it to this. And they do it, right? He'll try to tell me what I'm aware. Well, I think you should wear this. When I want your opinion, motherfucker, I'll give it to you. Until you start buying all my goddamn clothes, you don't tell me shit about what I wear. Are we on the same page now? Well, you don't have to go like that. Yeah, obviously I do, because you coming in the door trying to tell somebody what to fucking do. I had a daddy, and he did not look like you. So you keep your mouth closed, and we gonna go on this little dinner date, and then after that, that was the end of that shit. You coming in trying to tell, but it was a test. That I talk about it, the whole test. That's a test that they run. They want to see how much control you're going to give them, over you. So the woman who acquiesces and goes in and changes because she's trying to please him, he got your number, and that's the beginning of the end for you. You should always be contrary. I mean, even if you don't care, about what he's talking about, it's not really an issue. But don't give in when a man starts trying to tell you what to do. Check him and tell him to shut the fuck up and don't try to tell you nothing about what his opinion is, because you didn't ask for his goddamn opinion, right? You didn't ask for it. So, he don't need to be trying to give it to you because don't nobody care what you think. And who told you could think anyway? You only got 2 brain cells and they evidently malfunctioned because you come up with these errant thoughts trying to tell somebody what to do. So, so let's see what Raquel says. She said she had a best friend who was male. My ex was always jealous about him, accused her of sleeping together all the time. Girl, you should have dumped your ex faster. Oh, the first time they do that kind of stuff, I'll be like, you know what? We're not gonna have this conversation the second time because this first time is enough for me. Boop, deuces. Well, you see one. So what if I was? I was single. I could do what the fuck I want to do. So what? Why is that even an issue? Are we gonna start going down a list of all the hoes you slept with? You want to do that? So don't worry about what I did before you came on the scene. It's not your business. But I would be broken up with him anyway. Let's move on. These people, boy, this shit is pissing me off. Okay, number 20. When he talked about how crazy and controlling his ex was in response to me being annoyed at him over something that was perfectly reasonable. Number 21. He used the herbalicious and alcohol at work. On the job? Are you kidding me? Number 22, he said all his exes were crazy, but he was the crazy one who made others crazy. Yep, that's usually the case. They make them women crazy. Raquel said, she said, I know I was stupid. Well, you live and learn. That's why I say, I'm glad you guys are sharing, your experiences in addition to these, because that is always a goal. I want the young girls who come here to see, the types of behaviors that are red flags, because they just don't know. Just like you didn't know. You had no idea that this was going to be a big deal, and so you stay in a relationship. But now, in hindsight, you do know. So that knowledge and experience that you just shared can help somebody else identify that kind of behavior early, and she can extricate herself from the nonsense even faster than you did. Because she's gonna be like, oh yeah, I remember I was on that chat and Raquel said this and that, and he's doing that same thing. Let me get up out of here. See what I mean? Okay, this one using weed now called at work. Okay, that just took me out. Okay, number 23. She argued so easily and was negative all the time about everything. Number 24, disrespect of boundaries, such as getting angry when I needed to be friends to get to know them first. Oh, yeah, they don't like that. Them love bomber types, they think that, okay, well, I have a job and I was clean and I was nice to you. So I need a reward like a puppy. Like their milk bone is your body. And if you throw up any kind of curveball to say, no, I need to get to know you better first. We need to be friendly first. I need, the time to talk to you and get comfortable with getting to know you and stuff on slowly, they get upset because, you off script now. You have to have the nerve to tell him no. And he's like, well, they feel like they earned it, that they have done everything with their little checklist. They've gone down the list of doing these certain behaviors. And so now they deserve this reward. Oh, okay. You know how and I think I'm so toned down to how I used to be, you guys. I can't tell you how many men I've cussed out in my lifetime. It's just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Because they get out of pocket. Wow, he came into work on that day to spend time with you. What? Okay, that's odd. Yeah, I would do that too. That's kind of the that's I'm not even gonna say odd. That is straight up weirdo. Yes, there you go, Ash. See, this is it. This is why these young ladies, like, they get a dude, they meet the dude, and a month later they living together, and a month after that she pregnant. You don't even know who this dude is, but she's up there family planning with him and trying to create a future with a stranger. It's just so unbelievable to me. Let's move on. This is so many of these things. It's pages and pages. This I'm still on the second page. Okay. We were walking to get lunch one day, and he turned to me out of the blue and asked, "So, what do you think of Andrew Tate?" And I remember being so taken aback and shocked because I didn't know what to say because it was so out of left field. We'd probably only been together about 4 or 5 months at this point. Well, that would have been the last day of that. Then he goes, quote, "I think he makes some good points. Long story short, he absolutely was a flaming misogynist who hated women." LMAO. Yeah, in the black community, okay, that's Andrew Tate. So obviously, you white. That's no problem. But in the black community, it was, what's that dude's name? The one who croaked that everybody was following. I can't remember his name. You don't have to type it, but there was this black guy had the same kind of attitude, and all these brothers was following him like he was like the second coming of Christ or some shit. I just could not figure that one out at all. Yeah, but he died, so I was like, there is a God. Number 26, watching him lie through his teeth to everyone around us and not realizing that he could easily lie to me too. That's right. Yes, there you go. Thank you, Giggles. That's enough of a memory trigger for me. As you know, I blanked him so hard I could not remember his name. If you offered me $1 million, I would be like, I don't know. I can't remember. Number 27, pushing me to have nook nook before I wanted to. It seems obvious now, but back then I thought it meant, wow, he really likes me, instead of he doesn't respect me. Exactly. Number 28, he got drunk and asked me if I loved him yet. I didn't respond, and he said, oh, but I've been doing all the right things. I thought it was cute at the time, but now I see that he was just consciously manipulating me. Yep. So I was just talking about the checklist of stuff. They want the reward. So he feels like, well, I did all the tricks. I jumped through all the hoops. Where's my milk bone? Number 29, at dinner on our first date, He said, you look better in a neutral color. And who died and made your ass the editor of Vogue? You don't know shit about what I would look best in. You need to shut up and sit over there and drink your coffee and eat your mashed potatoes and do something sensible with yourself. So you would look better. Oh my God, I can't even tell you what kind of fool I would have to act. Oh man. Number 30, he wasn't good with my cat. My cat hated him actually. Two different women. Those were responses from two different women. I just put them together because they both had to do with cats. Number 31, when he bragged about a cruel act against an ex, it's not that she ever deserved it because it was just abusive. Number 32, he didn't show up a lot and had a preposterous explanation each time. Okay, my question is okay, respect. He don't show up. Okay, he stood you up and yet you continue to deal with him. In what reality does that make sense? When he did that shit the first time, there's not supposed to be a second opportunity for him to stand you up, talk to you, call you, text you, nothing. You're supposed to go in your phone and block him. Because somebody who disrespects you to that level and you continue to reward him with your presence, your time, your energy, your conversation, your body, you're stupid. And he knows you stupid. And after you play yourself like that, and then he's going to wonder why the guy doesn't doesn't want to treat him well and cheats on him and lies to him and just does whatever. Because you set it up that way by not demanding respect. When a guy disrespects you like that, what he's looking for you to do is respect yourself. But too many of y'all don't do that. And you can, oh well, it's just this one time. I'll just, you know what I'm talking about, Raquel. Thinking he's somebody, some fashion diva person. Okay, yeah. Okay, number 33 rather. He tried to gaslight me into thinking having popcornish pictures as a wallpaper on his phone was totally normal. Wow. Yeah, let me put this number. Anybody want to call in so that you can speak versus type. Here's the link. I need to do this more often. But it's right there. I see it's displaying on YouTube as well. I mean, right on Facebook as well as YouTube. I just don't even understand this at all. Let me go over here to Instagram. Put it over here too. Okay. What's up, Shay the Bay? You on the airline watching? Girl, let me watch my language before they put you in the back of the plane. Hey, you're watching some stuff that's inappropriate. All right, so let's see. Okay, number 34. He told me that he didn't have an instinct to be kind to me. I said he should think of kindness as a muscle and he should try to strengthen it. What I really should have done is ran then and there. That's right. Because you don't want to argue with him about when he tells you how he's going to treat you. You don't argue with him. You just say, bet. Boop, I'm gone. Oh, you have your headphones on? Oh, thank you, Jesus. Okay. Number 5, I'm sorry. His mom told me to break up with him if he hit me or talked to me like he does her. Okay, somebody's mother's telling you that their son is wretched and you still keep dealing with him. This followed after she asked him to stop riling up her new kitten and he strangled it and cussed her out. Deb, I wish I wasn't joking. And you stayed dealing with him. She need to be like, okay, this dude that I dated in Texas, his mother, like he was mouthing off to her. She went down the hall. The next thing you know, she was coming back and we heard this click clack sound. Dude looked down the hall and saw his mama starting to raise that gun up. Dude used to run track. He did hurdles, so his legs were really long and he could move. So he ran through that living room, jumped over that chair, hit that door, he was down the driveway, and he was motoring. My mom came out and she was like shooting at him. The neighbors had to come out and stop her because before somebody got hurt with the bullets ricocheting because she was just shooting. She was just shooting. I mean, she wasn't really aiming that good at. So somebody could have got hurt. So the neighbors came in, husbands came and took the gun from her and stuff. But yeah, she was trying to shoot him because he disrespected her in her house. See, so that was a Texas mama. She wasn't having it. He he washed his mouth after that too. I mean, if one of the bullets had caught him, his track career would have been over, at least for a while till he went through rehab and stuff. So I'm like, you dude, you better watch who you talking to, crazy. But that told me something. If he's gonna talk so crazy to his own mother that she wanted to shoot him, and not just wanted to, was trying to shoot him. There's nothing for me here. There's nothing for me here. I left his ass alone. That I mean, just watching that. I mean, it's funny when I think about it. When it was happening, I was like, because I'd never seen no shit like that. But I just got to thinking about it. It's like, wow, he thought that was okay to talk to his mother like that. See, me and my mother, we would go some rounds, but I would never. I just wouldn't talk to her rather than ever disrespect her or say something that I shouldn't say. I just would go silent. I put her in a timeout. And my brother would be like, "Why you ain't talking to mom?" I was like, "No, she in the corner right now." They know what that meant. She in the corner. She on the timeout. I'll talk to her soon enough, but it ain't gonna be this week. But that's how I would do versus to say anything that would ever disrespect women. I just could not bring myself to do that. As horrible as I am with my mouth and stuff, I curb it around her. But I could never do that. But watching him do that to his mother, I was like, oh hell to the no, I'm out of here with this clown. Okay, so then this next one is number 36. The actual first in hindsight are kind of hard to see, but now I know. Having everything in common on the first date, oversharing trauma, divulging, quote, all his exes were crazy, end quote, extravagant gifts and dates, and talking about me being the one and the person he wants to marry within a week of knowing each other. Wow. Plus, him being 22 and me being just 17. I was mentally ill and immature at the time. Dating your first narc is an experience. Oh, someone is calling. Let me hook up my headphones. Hold on a second. You would think I would be prepared for this, but a lot of times I invite people to call and nobody calls, so I just be sitting here lonely. All right, let me get this young person here. Time travel. Hey,
Hello.
hi, you on the what you got to say?
Oh, what's that? I just wanted to talk to you. Oh, 1 second. Let me.
Hello? You're kind of breaking up or something's going on over here.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes,
How you doing?
I'm fine. Do you want to share some red flags?
Yes, I want to share a red flag. Um, uh, can you? I'm a little shy. Can you
Well,
kind of lead
nobody,
me?
nobody's seeing you. Yeah, let me see. Let me hold on a second. What we're asking people to say is
Uh,
anything that you notice that you ignore. Can you see this?
mm-hmm.
What things you went through from ignoring them,
Mm-hmm.
and basically your wisdom from that experience. Because what we're trying to do is get young women who don't know
Okay.
what this stuff is to be able to
Okay.
identify it.
Okay. So, the first red motherfucking flag was that he kept trying to invalidate me.
Mm,
Boom. He kept. I mean, I thought it was like I didn't know what I was going through, but really, everything that I said, he wanted to be on the opposite side. Like that's the truth. Anything that
wow.
I said, he wanted to be on the opposite side of of
Yeah.
the yeah.
Just
And
to
so
put you down, okay, make you seem like you're wrong.
I didn't know that that actually was a symptom. But you know what the fucked up part about it is? Every, I started to do experiments. I was like, hold on, you know, I just want to say this about this. Anything I would say, he would basically try to basically invalidate me.
Okay.
Period.
Anything else?
Oh yes. He hit me yesterday.
What, you still in this relationship?
I mean, it was yesterday.
So when did you break up?
I haven't broke up with him yet.
Well, girl, what you waiting? What you waiting on?
I don't know because I don't know. You
Well,
know.
I'm gonna suggest this.
Hmm.
Don't wait until you in the hospital.
Okay.
So what you want to do is, talk to, reach out to whatever, I'm not going to ask you where you are. That's not my business.
Hmm.
But reach out to the domestic violence shelter in your area and ask them for some suggestions for how to safely extricate yourself from this situation.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah, you want to do it, notice I said safely. So they're going to ask you a lot of questions
Okay,
about
okay. You know
doing.
what? What I want to ask you is that how can I exit this situation safely? Because I've been with him for 1 year and a half, right? And I want to leave,
That's what I'm
but
saying. You need to talk to the experts in your area.
okay, okay,
Because a lot of times they have shelters, they have protection services, they have, resources that
okay,
I don't know because I'm not in your
okay.
area and it varies
I
from
understand
place to
that.
place. Yeah. So
Okay, thank you.
you want to talk to them and give them an idea of what's going on, give them the lay of the land, your situation, like if you're living with them, you got kids. I mean, there's other issues at play,
Hmm.
and you want to give them the whole scoop, and then they'll help you figure out a plan that gets you out of there safely.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
So, well, I appreciate that. I'm time traveling tarot.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for calling in and sharing. That's very, I hope
Thank
you
you
get
so
out of
much.
there. Okay.
I I'm trying to. Thank you so much.
All right. Talk to you later, girl.
Talk to you later. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, I want her to get, the expert advice for her area because, some of these cities are set up. I mean, they have all kind of support systems in place for women, and then others, will refer you out. You might have to go to the next county or something like that. So, I don't want to ask her business, like where are you and all that kind of stuff. That's totally inappropriate for this kind of format. But by directing her to, what to do as her next steps, I think she can be successful, uh, on her own. All right. Take those puppies off. All right, let's move on here to the next. Where did I leave off? Uh, okay, hindsight. Oh, she's number 37. It was either the hole in his arm or that he told me that was the first person that I was the first person that he had never lied to. What do you? What? Okay, was that like injecting something? How would you get a hole in your arm? This makes me be like, huh? Say what? I mean, I don't want to be acting like I'm brand new or nothing, but I ain't never seen no shit like that. So I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with that. Thank you, Layla. Lalia. Lalia. Okay, girl, I can't have C. My eye is still healing, but I can see better than I used to. I tell you that. Okay, number that would mess me up. Number 38, 100% talking terribly about former relationships and seeming so upset by his exes. Also having so many exes and talking about them constantly. Both men and women said this one. So this thing, a lot of you, and we talked about this on the wall. Um, you if you in a new relationship and you dating somebody, shut your damn mouth. Don't nobody want to hear about your exes. What you keep talking about those motherfuckers for? You out your mind. Nobody cares. Okay, you talk to your diary, make a recording on your phone or something and talk to that. but you end up trying to set up a situation with somebody else. What in the world makes you think they want to know all these details about your exes? They don't care. They're going to be polite and not say that they don't care, but I'm telling you they don't care because I'm going to get the letters and the emails asking why somebody's so stupid that they keep talking about their exes all the time. So you women especially do this. You need to learn to shut the hell up. Tell them other men don't want to hear about what you did with some other man or how he dogged you out and mistreated you and cheated on you and lied to you and stuff. Because he's going to sit there looking at you like, well, what kind of stupid were you where you stayed with him? Right? It's not going to reflect well on you. Learn to shut up. Don't say nothing. Don't even talk to new men about old men. When men ask me about other men, I be making jokes. I say, "Why are you trying to get with them? What you want all that information on them for?" Oh no, it ain't even like that. I was just curious. I'm like, well, curiosity killed the cat. Some things you just really shouldn't ask people. And I just leave it at that. Yes, please hit the like button. And if you're not already a subscriber to this channel, please support us by becoming a subscriber. That would be so wonderful. That'd be so great. That's right. Is that what that is, DP? Girl. Oh, yeah. See, that would have me get in my purse and be like, oh, I'll be right back and never show up. Never come back. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying, honey. They be asking those kind of questions, but the women open the door by giving all the men all that information that the men never ask for and don't want. They don't want to hear about your exes. Trust me. No man want to hear about other men. So you women who want to do that, I mean, I don't understand what you're doing that for, because all you're doing is shooting yourself in the foot. You're gonna make yourself sound stupid. And then you're gonna wonder why dudes not respecting you. Well, why should he when you didn't the other dudes didn't respect you and you stayed with them? So you should still do the same thing now. That's how guys think. Like, why should I treat her good when she accepted mistreatment from all these other people? And the only reason he would know that is because you opened your big mouth and told him. Just stupid, just talking too damn much. Okay, number 39. He would get upset with me and demand that I call him if I didn't answer a text or pick up the phone immediately. If I didn't answer that, then he'd spam me until he was typing my name in capital letters. If I said no, he'd ask me repeatedly why. If I was sure, tried to find a way to swing it and guilt me into it. I'll also add that this was at all hours of the day and night, like 2 a.m., 5 a.m., middle of the workday. It didn't matter. I was expected to answer. Why didn't you turn your phone off? I put my phone automatically at 10 p.m. goes the do not disturb thing. It automatically comes on and it does not come off until 6 or 7 the next day. On Saturdays, it comes on at 7. I mean, on the weekend, at 7 or 8. But during the day, the weekdays, I get up earlier because I have things to do. So it's set to turn back. It turns off at 6. But between 10 and 6, ain't nobody calling me. I have a couple of people's numbers there that for emergencies, that their calls will come through. But other than that, ain't nobody calling me. That's controlling, Diana. I wouldn't say it's, I mean, it may be some of that, but what it really is control, because they want to make sure that what you're doing. But see, to me, when a guy is that worried about what I'm doing and where I am and who's with me, it's because he's doing some shit he don't want to be doing. He should be doing it. He wants to make sure he doesn't get caught. Because if they know where you are, then he knows that you ain't gonna come to where he is. You see where I'm going with this? He can be out with places with all these other women, and he knows you safely at home because he's texting you every 5 minutes, and you're responding. Well, I'm trying to go to sleep. Da, 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 da. So you telling him where he is, where you are, and he knows that it's safe to do his little dirt because you won't be there. That's why I turned my phone off. I mean, that's not why, but I don't want them calling me because I might want to just do a pop up. You just never know about me. Especially like to send texts to him. I learned this from my little cousin. She said she had her boyfriend and she'd send him a text, right? She'd be at her house, but she'd send him a text saying, I'm looking in your window. And dude would be all scared. She's like, I'm looking at your window. I see you. I see you. And he wouldn't know if she was looking and seeing him or not, right? It was too funny. And she had a friend that lived next to, down the street from him. So she would go over, she said, yeah, he got on this and that. So she said, she would, use that information. Yeah, I see you over there with that red shirt on and stuff. You trying to be cute in that red shirt. And he was like, oh my God, she knows what I have on. So it was hilarious. She taught me that. She was like all of 18 years old. She's like, I'm peeping through your window. And that Jim was hilarious. Oh, okay. Here's another one. Number 40. when he openly admitted to me that he threw his ex-wife, the mother of his children, through a glass shower door. I would be like, yeah, okay, bye. Number 41. I don't think it was the first red flag, but it was actually several that I didn't really realize were so messed up until a long time later. He was really messed up and did things to trigger my anxiety, then acted like I was crazy for it. I was 18 and he was 28. We were out drinking in the woods with his friends and he was eating a tuna sandwich and started trying to kiss me and shoving his tongue in my mouth covered in tuna. Deb, I'm a vegetarian. At first, I thought he was just drunk and sloppy, but after a while, I realized it was one of his sick ways to see how much he could get away with little by little. Another time he gave me a plate of food and I didn't eat the rice on it, and he asked why I wasn't eating it. If it was because it was chicken rice, which is exactly why I wasn't eating it. I could tell by the smell what kind it was and figured he didn't realize it, but then he made a point to let me know that he did on purpose. One time he pinned me down on his bed until I started having a full on panic attack, and he finally let me go and I ran out to the porch. He was laughing at me and saying how weird it was that I reacted like that. Okay, but you had all these signs. But see, again, she was 18. So, we have to cut them some slack because they don't know at that age how to identify bullshit when it's coming. She just think it's a one-off thing instead of pattern of seeing it as a pattern of behavior that's out to destroy her, get control. That's why these dudes deal with girls that are so young. They fresh like in seniors in high school and fresh out of high school and stuff like that. That's why they go for you because they know you don't know anything yet. I would highly recommend for those of you who are innocent like that, spend some time on this channel. Look at all the videos like that have to do with boundaries, saying no, um, self-esteem, those kinds of things. Standards and behavior and expectations and maintaining your dignity at all times. Start with those searches for those type things in the title and start watching and then watch whatever else you want to, like the weekly advice stream is always a good one. Number 42, love bombed me with a lot of expensive gifts he thought I needed, but also wanted me to be his angel investor to the tune of $20,000. Really? I still be laughing. Yes, that's what we want, Ken High. We want them to learn. That's the whole point. So when they're that young, I mean, and they're dealing with somebody their age and it's something that they really should know, then I do, get on their case. But when she's dealing with an older dude, 10 years old, I mean, he's on the downstroke to 30. She's not even 20 yet, just graduated high school. And he's on the downstroke to 30. He's like light years ahead of her, emotionally and mentally, and with, dating experience and the whole thing. So there's no way she can deal. She gonna know all the games that he could possibly run. But recognizing this kind of stuff, like he knows you're a vegetarian, he tries to put tuna fish in your mouth. That is a boundary violation, and you don't deal with any man who violates your boundaries at all, ever. The first time he does it, you deuce out. You just, especially when you know he's doing it on purpose. So, these are the kind of things I want young girls to understand. These are egregious violations and red flags, and you should never deal with a man who treats you like that and tries to, go around your boundaries and crush them like that and totally disrespect you and everything that you're about, your values, your morals, everything. He just gonna do what he want to do and treat you any kind of way he wants to because. Let's see here. She's been good coming. Watched you since I was 24. Oh, okay, go girl. I'm so good. I mean, so glad to hear that. I always like it when people, let me know how long they've been around and what their what lessons they've learned and stuff. It makes me say, okay, I can keep going another couple of years here. I've been rewatching videos too because of a breakup. Oh, good. Okay, you watch as many as you need to get yourself together and make sure that your next choices are a little bit smarter. Okay. She's saying what? My cat would have Friskies breath. You know what, Ravania, with your crazy ass. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, so let's see. Number 43. He was 16 years older than me and had been to prison. And then she put the eye roll emoji. I was a naive 20-year-old, and he was, so that means he was 36 and you were 20. What were you doing? Okay. Number 44, that everyone in the liquor store knew his name. Oh my, that's not a spot where you want to be well known. And he had a child in high school that he, as an adult, is not allowed to see. He also told me without seeming like it was a joke that he had K'd someone. Yeah. Well, let me put this up. You know, Ravania is crazy. Ravania's been around here for years too. She pops in and out. But here you go. This is the link. If you want to, you want to make a comment on the air and make it so that you're on the recording, audio recording. Or you can just type your comment in here. I'll put it across the screen. But either way, so you guys share your thoughts. This is, in case you just came in, this is what I'm asking people to do. This is an audience participation show. So, this, if you want to call in or type in the chat here, you share the red flags that you ignored and why you ignored them. Because that's the curious part. Why did you ignore them? What things did you go through since you ignored them? What changes did they put you through? What do you know now that you didn't know then? Because a lot of times when people are young, they don't know what's happening. They screw up and they kick themselves later, but they grow up and they learn. And then any other tips or wisdom that you have to share with people who may be watching this recording after we're done here. So that's what we're doing on this show. And you are invited to call in. I'm posting the link again. And there it is. Okay, so you can just click it. It's a VoIP line. So you just click it on your phone, your tablet, your laptop, whatever, and you'll be on the audience here. Okay, number 45. We were making out on the bed. Then he got on top of me. He looked into my eyes and pinned me down. At first, I thought he was playing around, but then when I laughed it off, his grip got tighter. I looked back to his eyes, and he had this glazed gloss over his eyes. I said, "You need to let me go." He snapped out of the gaze and loosened his grip. This was the first red flag I had, and I ignored, which led to a very toxic and abusive relationship. Yeah, see, I would have got up and I would have had to go. I don't like that kind of stuff. It's one of the things I used to have a bad dream about as a kid. And it was called, in my dream, it was called the tickle monster, because this thing would like pin me down and it would tickle me. Like, as you get that kind of uncontrollable laughter where you can't catch your breath. It was like that. Now, I had asthma at the time. It probably was connected with, my childhood asthma, the not breathing part. I don't know. That's just something I surmised as an adult. But the feeling of being trapped, of not being able to be free when I wanted to, and somebody like holding me prisoner like that, that is one of my biggest terrors, and I just don't like it. Even when people try to do that and they try to play like that, they end up with a knee in the groin, their nose busted, their eye, something. I respond with violence because I feel like it's a major threat. And it's always, I hit one of my brothers in the eye one time. He scared me like that and tried to grab me from behind and tried to lift me up. And he was doing something. He was lifting me up. I told him, put me down and let me go. And he didn't do it. So I took my foot and I kicked back through his legs. And he had a problem. But that's what he got. Should have put me down when I told you to. My father was like, well, that was a little excessive. I said, well, I told him to put me down. He didn't do it. So after that, I said, my dad told him, it's like, don't touch your sister in any way she don't want you to touch her. And so then we never had that problem again. But yeah, that's when I was young and flexible. I could do that. I tell you, these dudes are just a trip. Okay, number 46. We talk on the phone for hours. I thought it was great because I didn't need to figure out what to say. It was like angels singing. But now she will just not shut the fuck up ever. I look out the window while she croaks on and on about some meaningless bullshit. I can't believe I fucked up so bad. I'm gonna never get that time back. Yeah, why do so many women just talk so much? I don't get it. Number 47, literally her, quote, I manipulate people to get what I want, end quote. Idiot me, but you won't manipulate me, right? Her, sure. Stupid me, years later, oh my, where did all this manipulation come from all of a sudden? Out of the blue with no warning or clues. At least he was making jokes about it, but you know what I mean? Oh my God, that's messed up. What she say? Don't tell you some kind of ass with 9 days of Sunday. Well, yeah, I see. You see, look at Kate High. She looked like she about to go thugging on somebody. I wouldn't be messing with you either. But she got that like, try me, bitch, face on. Did y'all see that? Y'all see? Let me put you back up on the screen. Look at her. Look at her. She looking like she, yeah. Come over here with that. I got something for you. That's that face she got. I'm like, I'm not gonna mess with you, girl. Let me just leave you alone. Wait a minute. What? He admitted it. See? Did you listen though, Ann? Did you pay attention? Did you hang up after that conversation and say, well, thank you. That was a very interesting conversation. It was so entertaining. Did you do that? Go on, confess, Anna. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you guys. They always tell on themselves. They always tell you exactly who they are. You just have to listen. You just have to pay attention. Okay, so let me see her. Let me see. He's like, that was funny though. Out of the blue with no warning. That was hilarious. Number 48. She would constantly arguing on the phone with her baby daddy and would go into crying fits. Wow. Okay, that's a lot of unfinished business right there. Number 49. We had been hanging out for 3 weeks. When I kissed her and she put her hand over my mouth and said, sorry, I just don't find you attractive anymore. I replied, that's a hell of a FU and went inside and smoked. Realized I was still at her place, thought that was kind of fucked up, and then I left. She had gotten a job at a place I had been a regular at for years, so I figured when we were done, I avoided that place for a little bit because I didn't want to see her. But one day I was really bored and I missed seeing some of my friends from there and swung by telling myself that I was going to be seeing her around, so I may as well get used to it. Walked past her, said hi, asked how she been. She gave a two-word answer. Then I went outside and hung out for a while, and then I left. That night she knocked on my window and acted like nothing had happened. And you, of course, let her in because you was like a horny toad. I can see how this story ended. Number 50, general insecurity and an inability to bring up their concerns to me. When I say things about myself, they comment in a slightly insecure way. I felt something was wrong, but ignored it because I thought, oh boy, here we go. It would go away. What, like dink a dink a dink, like bewitched? Fast forward a couple of weeks, and now they're accusing me of cheating, but for some reason won't show me any evidence. Only after we argued and they broke up with me did they finally send me the quote evidence. All it was just the cringe nook nook jokes that I made. If they thought had brought it up earlier, I would have stopped and we could have moved on. Side note, if someone sends you screenshots of them playing Sims 4 with nook nook mods run away. Okay, but see, my thing is okay, you make cringe nook nook jokes. How the fuck old are you? Why would you think somebody would want to tolerate that and somebody should tell you that they don't want to hear it and that's inappropriate? Do you know how stupid you sound? You gonna do some dumb shit and then think people need to tell you to stop not do dumb shit? As I said, what are you, 12? 4. You need money? The hell? Grown men know how to conduct themselves and only fools act like this. My God. I don't even know what to say. Number 51. Early on, she bragged how she slept with her ex friend's boyfriend out of revenge. Okay, that shows a certain type of character. If I was a dude, I'd be like, boop. Number 52. After about a month of dating, she told me that she had cheated on her ex with his brother. I considered ghosting her after that, but decided her past was none of my business. Oh, you fool. I raised her kid, had 2 more with her, worked my ass off to provide for us all. And then after 16 years, I found out she'd been cheating on me for the majority of the time we were together. Character, morals, values. You ignored those. Number 53, he made a joke at my expense to his family. When confronted, he refused to care or understand that it caused embarrassment. When he made that joke in front of his family, what you were supposed to do is stand up and make one about him and embarrass him right back. That's what you're supposed to do. You should never, ever accept that kind of stuff from a dude. He'll say he's going to talk about something about you losing weight or something like that. You talking about, well, I wish he would gain some in his pants, because then we both be happy. But right now, you know, I mean, I deal with it, but really, let's concentrate on that. You want me to lose a few inches? I want you to gain some. How about we do that? Yes, that's what we would do. But yeah, I mean, whatever is his issue, his thing, whatever his weak point is, it might be, I don't know, something about something on his body, his salary, something. Every man has a weakness. He gonna try to clown like that in front of his family. I'm ready to break him off something, and I'm gonna just throw it out there like I'm playing a deck of cards, like just deal a hand. I'm getting ready to fuck you up because you had no right to say some shit like that to me. So we're gonna have people gonna be laughing at me, they're gonna be laughing at you too. So let's not do that. That's what I always tell men. Don't. Because you're gonna say the wrong shit and you're gonna let Shanika come out. Shanika Louise Deborrah Cooper is gonna come out, and I'm gonna act a complete fool, and you're gonna be sorry that you said that. So the main best thing for you to do is just watch your mouth. Okay, watch your mouth. Don't talk to me crazy. Let's see, what is this saying? Whoa! Okay, how trifling were they though? Or did he mean before they got married? There's I have questions. I have questions. Okay, let's move on here. Okay. Number 54, he pretended to be really upset and got all happy out of nowhere after I felt super bad and said he wasn't upset. He just wanted to see how I would react. So he pretended to be upset. Well, see, when they get upset, unless I know that I did something or something happened that should make them upset, like somebody crashed into their car and the car sitting there getting about to get towed away. Okay, you can be upset about that. Their dog died. They just got fired. Something along those lines. Unless it's something like that, you just suddenly get into a bad mood and your face gets all twisted up. I'm gonna get up and walk out the room or get in my car and drive off and leave you there with your mood. I don't deal with that kind of shit. We're not doing that. Because that's oh, honey, what's wrong? So that they have you jumping through hoops. Oh my God. Well, can I get you something? Can I just, I'm not doing all that. I'll be sitting there looking at them. What the fuck? What's going on with your face? Why you looking all fucked up in the face? And then they be trying to tell you all. It's like, well, dude, you don't have to tell me. I mean, I'm just asking just to use some words, really, because I really don't care. So yeah, let me get my keys and go on up out of here. So you can have your mood by yourself. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, these are experiences that I've actually had. Like this dude, we was on a nice date, right? We on a nice date, and we get in the car to go back. And suddenly he goes radio silent. He just sitting there driving the car, like leaned on the window, leaned on the window like this, and he driving with this hand, like he just so pissed and shit. I look over there at him and I get on my phone and start, looking at TikToks and shit. I'm not really tripping on him. So so after a while he notices I'm not paying him any attention. He's like, well, don't you have nothing to say? I said, no, I sure don't, because you just sitting there looking all crazy. So I thought you had something on your mind. I'm giving you the space and time to think about it. Because he could see that I was unbothered, so then he stopped. Because I'm not gonna play them games, and it's like that's why I spend so much time on this channel trying to teach you, bring you guys up on the games. There's so many of them. There's so many of them. So many ways men try to manipulate you, control you, yank your chain, have you jumping through hoops, doing all kind of shit. I try to tell you all this stuff. I know it's hard because it's spread out over a zillion different videos, but if you pay attention, if you're a regular watcher of this channel, you will know at least 90% of the bullshit that's out there, and you can identify it, and you won't be a part. You won't fall prey to it. You won't be gamed on because you already know what to look for. And it's kind of mood shit if you want to. You be in that mood by your damn self, because I'm gonna be gone somewhere having myself a good time. All right, let me see what else is on here. Okay. Number 55. I have like 100 and something of these. I don't think I'm gonna do all of them, but I'll start skipping around after a while. On our very first date, I showed up at 5 p.m. and didn't leave until around 10 the next morning. Oops. That entire time he didn't let his dog go to the bathroom, even though I kept offering to do it because the dog looked like he needed to go. He would tell me, no, he can wait till I say so. Wow, animal abuse. Insane alpha male bullshit. No, that's just animal abuse. Later found out he was juicing on roids too. And if you imagine, was just a genuine piece of human shit. Wow. He was 14 years older than me. I was 15 at the time. Number 57, to her credit, she was actually very upfront from the beginning that she had major commitment issues, would try to push me away, and I did believe her, but I convinced myself that it would be fine. Also, she was addicted to oxycodone, which I knew from pretty early on and looked past that, and that didn't help either. Number 58, he sat at the table cutting up seed like he was Tony Montana. And you didn't leave? Because I'd be looking around like, when is the DEA coming through the door? I'm out. See, Deb, I'm not trying to do no prison time. That cage thing just don't be working for me. Number 59, when I saw how he lived and how his family lived, generational poverty. Yes. Oh my God, I met this cute guy like that looked like that. Okay, I know I told you guys a story. This is a true story. Okay, so he's like, oh, he's staying with his auntie. No problem. So we go to the auntie's house. Now the front room was nice, but it's like, oh, you know how old people have all their furniture like covered in plastic. She had them, that like Victorian looking kind of shit that old people used to, and they put it plastic on it because they don't want nobody messing up their brocade. So she had that, but I mean, it looked nice. She had flowers and plants and whatnot. I mean, it looked decent in the living room. So then he's like, oh, my room's over here in the back. We can go back here and watch some TV or something. I'm like, okay, I'll stay about an hour. So we go and he fixed us a little drinky drink and then we go in this room. Child, I have never seen no shit like that except on TV. I swear to God, this room, okay, he had a mattress on the floor. There was no sheets on the bed, just a ratty looking blanket or two. And then there was another bed on the other side where his other cousins stayed. They had a blanket or sheet or something hanging up in the middle so they could each have, privacy or whatever, doing whatever they was going to be doing. And then the floorboards were just bare. There was no carpet. There was no linoleum. There was no tile. There was no nothing, just bare wooden floorboards. And then I saw a critter run across the floor. I was done. I was out. I'm like, ooh, I can't stay here. He's like, why you got to be? You don't have to be sedity. I said, I'm not going to be sedity. But see, Deb doesn't do critters. I don't do critters. Like, unless I'm in the woods and they're camping and I see a critter, okay, well, we're in their habitat. That's different. I don't want them in my habitat, so I gotta go. Boop, and I left his ass there. But yeah, that was my slumming. Why was I? I don't even because, like I said, from the house, the outside the house looked nice, and then when you went inside, the kitchen and the living room and stuff where the auntie stayed did look nice. And I'm not sure. This looked like some kind of makeshift add-on to the back of the house. I guess so. This cousin and him could have some place to stay. I'm not really sure what that was about. I didn't ask. All I'm telling you is what I saw. And this was in East Oakland. And I was like, whoo, I'm never messing with nobody from East Oakland ever again. And I didn't either. Yes, girl, that was beyond dusty. I just sometimes to this day I've never seen no shit like that. It looked like from Appalachia or some shit. I just and this, I mean, and he was standing there. Oh no. Mm-mm. Maybe I'm too hoity-toity, but that just is not my style. So I know what she means, the generational poverty, but it didn't seem like the aunt was, I don't know what that was all about. Anyway, number 60, he completely flipped out over my suggestion that we try some non-scented laundry soap so I don't get skin irritation. He started slinging insults at me, yelled, and just seemed so unhinged. I can't believe I let him stay in my life after that. Yeah, I can't believe it either. Girl, I'm telling you, that just was. You see, I don't even know how many years ago that was. I still remember like it was yesterday. I still could see that sheet hanging in the middle, and them ratty, dirty blankets that looked they hadn't been washed for months, and that mattress that was no sheets on it on the floor. And I'm thinking, there's not even any place for me to sit in here. Would I have to sit on that thing that looked like it has fleas and lice? Oh hell, to the no! I had to leave. I couldn't do it. Mm-mm. Okay, so number 80, I mean 61. She said he asked to clean my house, but the end result was so that he could steal a check from me. He could clean it so he find out where her checkbook was. Number 62, after date one, I found his mugshot online and several news articles detailing the loss of his business practice due to RSA of patients. He had all the best excuses, and I believed him. Wow, you hella stupid. Then he put his hands on my adult daughter when she was visiting. And he's still living? Hmm. Him wanting to be in control, number 63, him wanting to be in control of my finances after only a few months of dating. I thought it was because he saw a future. Turns out it was so I would be completely dependent on him. And you let him do it after a few months of dating. Wow. Number 64, he brought me a gift that looked like it was from a dollar store. Now I'm not expecting jewelry from Tiffany or anything. However, it just made me feel like I wasn't worth very much to him. I obviously wasn't, as he treated me very poorly in the relationship. Well, he only gonna treat you poorly because you stuck around and let him do it. Yeah. I mean, if you sit there, they say you lay there like a rug, you're gonna get walked on. What you want him to do? You should have got up and left him. Uh, Number 65. I knew his uncle long before I ever met him. When we went out the first time, I made the connection that they were related, and I told him the nickname my granddad had for his uncle. It was Gimme. Gimme this and gimme that. He responded by slapping me in the face. See, he would have had to die. It's like, I'm about to blow up your entire vehicle, your house, and your life is about to go up in flames. I should have jumped out of the vehicle and ran. I was young and very inexperienced in life and honestly so shocked because no man had ever done that to me before. He apologized profusely and said it was a knee jerk reaction, but it wasn't. 7 years, a few broken bones, and multiple police reports later, I finally escaped. Number 66, the first criticism on our first date. I should have known then. That's right. They're supposed to be full of compliments and honey. Their lips should be honey, dripping honey and stuff, not criticizing you. Number 67, it was two so close together I count them as one. But the first one, he started yelling at me for opening the car door for her. She started yelling at me for opening the car door for her. Then when we got to the restaurant, she talked down to the waitress something awful, stopping short of calling her stupid because she couldn't find her date of birth on her license in 3 seconds, like mine because she was from out of state. And sir, you know what you were supposed to do? You were supposed to say, you know what? Let's get up. Let's go. This date's over. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't spend money and give time and energy to some bitch who acts like that. Are you crazy? Number 50, 68. When I first met him, it was just a few weeks before my champagne birthday, so that's 21. I was so excited. I was not expecting anything because I had just met him. He made me feel like shit. He told me that for his ex's 21st birthday, he threw her a huge birthday bash in a club with bottle service and how he bought her 21 special gifts leading up to the day. He told me he did so much for her and she cheated on him, so he would never do stuff like that again. I'm not sure why, but he just kept talking about her nonstop and it made me feel like shit and not good enough for him. If I was with him, why would he keep bringing her up? I should have never ignored this because every single special holiday he managed to ruin. When somebody's always okay, let me repeat this because you probably have new people here that don't know this. Whatever somebody's thinking about, that's what they talk about. So if you got a man or woman in your life and they always talking about their ex, that's who they're thinking about. So they're physically with you, but their mind and heart is on still on this other person. What should you do in a situation where they keep talking about somebody else? You should do south because that person hasn't finished healing yet. They're probably not doing it with any kind of malice. They just are still, emotionally tied to that person and using you as a band-aid, a rebound. That's all you're going to be. So if you get in a situation, you go on a date and someone starts talking about their ex, then you have to understand that that's never going to work and not in your favor. And any emotion that you would invest in that would be foolish. I went on a date like that with this dude, right? It was a blind date. And he asked me where I wanted to go. So I used to like this restaurant, Jack London Square in Oakland, called El Pescatore. It's an Italian restaurant on this little boat and stuff. Oh, their food was the best. So, he let me pick the place with my favorite food. So, right, I'm like, bet. So we go to the restaurant. And so, we sit down and he says, what do you want? I ordered the shrimp scampi. That's why I can still eat shrimp. So I ordered the shrimp scampi and the salad or some shit. I mean, I ordered like all the stuff because, I was working out a lot and I needed the calories. And so then he ordered the same thing as me. And then he sat there. He didn't really eat his food because he was talking about his ex the whole time. So I already knew what that meant. So then, I finished my food. Then I looked at his plate and I said, "Are you going to eat that?" And he said, "No." I took his plate and switched it with mine. And I proceeded to eat his shrimp scampi too. And so then, he's like, "Well, do you want dessert?" And I said, "Yeah, they have this great, um, what is that stuff it's called? The custard with the little glaze on the top. Forgot what it's called, but anyway, so I ordered that too. When I left that place, I was so like, I didn't eat until like dinner the next day. I had eaten so much, which is ridiculous. And he paid the bill, and then we left and everything, and then that was it. I never heard from him again. Well, I mean, they do want free therapy, but see, I feel like I'm getting something. I'm getting something out of it. Okay, so I got, I mean, it's like $30 a plate. Then so I ate two dinners. So I got paid my good hourly rate at that time. I wasn't too bothered about it. Plus, I had a couple of drinks, and I was good. I was good. The alcohol made it okay for me to listen to him whine about this chick. And yes, thank you, Ash, creme brulee, honey. That's my dessert. Any place I go and that's on the menu, oh, you can bet that's what I'm gonna order. That's such a creature of habit. But yes, I ate two dinners, salad, dessert, and had multiple. What was I drinking at that time? Cosmopolitans. I was drinking Cosmos at that time. So, 3 or 4 Cosmos. Because I used to be able to drink those things. I mean, they put that much, they're small and they'll give you a little bit of alcohol. So, you toss that back and then you be ready for the next one. So he spent a grip. And I was like, okay, well, that's a good hourly rate. We all right here. I didn't feel taken advantage of or anything. Yes, Cosmos. Then I switched to lemon drops. Then I went back to Cosmos. Now I just drink wine and Hennessy. I don't really mess with the mixed drinks anymore. All right, so let's move on. So she says, this one says the physical violence. He was throwing, punching, and kicking things when he got upset. And you stayed with him? Number 70. It wasn't a red flag, but a siren. There was a young lady I was once interested in. She was very cute. I went to see her one day and realized it probably wasn't a good idea as we were too different. So I got up to leave and she wrapped herself around my legs to keep me from leaving. If there was any doubt about it, then it was gone. Her whole self esteem was wrapped up in having a man. I finally escaped her 2 years later. Wow. Number 71, he told me he was, quote, a little bit narcissistic, end quote, on our first date. Number 72, the first red flag was when he started making minor comparisons between me and his ex wife. They were hardly big comparisons, but I should have listened to my instincts. I knew something was off. An example, I jokingly told him that my least favorite chore was laundry. And he said something like, well, my ex hated laundry. It drove me nuts. He was laughing a little, so I just brushed it off. I shouldn't have. He ended up being really manipulative, passive aggressive, and mean. Well, yeah. Like I said, they only talk about what they're thinking about. So he gonna pop up with something about his ex-wife. That's who he was thinking about. He wasn't thinking about you, because he should have been asking you questions about yourself. Like you said you don't like. Oh, he should have been asking you why. Why? What is it about laundry that you don't? So he should have been focusing on you, but instead he flipped back and started thinking about her, and that's what came out of his mouth. Yeah, they mentioned that, Raquel. That was earlier on up there. Yes, I was like a tick. I mean, they could have rolled me out of there to tell you the truth. I was so full. I was sick. I was so full. Okay, and then number 73, love bombing. They tell you that they love you and can't live without you after only 3 weeks. Run away. Number 74, the misogyny, always speaking negatively about women, whether it was, quote, joking or not. And the fact that he only kept women around for nook and discarded them at once it got, quote, complicated. Somehow my naive self lasted a year and a half. Wow. Number 75, when he told me that it was okay to lie to people for their own good. I'm not going to say too much there because I kind of hear where he's coming from. Not a serious lie, but remember what I was talking about? The other, like the dude the girl asked him if she had gained weight. That is a situation where it's best to lie. And it's not like a direct lie where you don't say no, but what you do is divert. Okay, you divert. So it's not like you're telling the truth, like, yes, you gained weight, you look like Orca. You're not going to say that. But you're not going to lie and say no either. So it's kind of in between. Is it a lie? Somewhat. Is it for her own good? Absolutely. Is it for your own good? Oh, totally. Is it for the best of the relationship? 2 thumbs up there. Do you one thing you don't want to do is go around telling your woman that she's gained weight and she looks big and stuff like that. You don't want to do that. That would be a mistake. So if that's what he means, then I'm on his team. But if he means for some other kind of manipulation, control to get the upper hand and all this kind of stuff that's going to ultimately hurt you, then I can't be on his team. I just want to put that caveat there. Number 76. Okay, listen to this one. When he told me that he caged someone, I hugged him and told him we all make mistakes. I was in his apartment alone. Wow, you hella stupid. Wow. Number 77, when he asked me to marry him 3 days after we met. Then 2 weeks later, he asked to borrow money for his gas bill and got mad when I wouldn't give it to him. That same week, we went grocery shopping and didn't have enough money to cover it, and he expected me to pay. The love bombing continued for a year, and then once we moved in together, I realized he was a monster. Ended up cheating on me with an ex he had stored away, and I left. Never again. Okay, but the money, the weird marrying him thing after 3 days, and then him expecting you to cover his groceries just because you were there. I mean, none of that was enough to make you leave him. You waited until he cheated on you with somebody. Okay. All right. Number 78, I ignored him flirting with people right in my face. I'll never accept that or any other kind of disrespect ever again. Okay, why would a woman accept that? He doesn't want to, okay, red flag. He doesn't. Well, if he's not married, then that's like a non-factor because you ultimately have the right to just not fuck him then because that's an easy one. So that means you don't really want no look, not really, because you want to play Russian roulette with somebody's fertility, so it'll be their fault if you make a baby. I know that game. We ain't playing that game, and that's when you kick him out your house. All right, let me see. Number 79, my gut was telling me that I shouldn't be here. Number 80, he started sleeping over every night almost immediately. Before I knew it, we were living together. It all happened way too fast, but why did you let him sleep over every night? Don't you have something going on in your life that would require you to have alone time? You can't even fart without him being there. What is that? No. Number 81, he got upset when I didn't answer the phone right away, but continued trying to call me or contact me until I answered. Sadly, if I'm being honest here, there were so many red flags, it's hard for me to choose just one. Number 82, he slapped me in the face for some shit I can't even remember. Violence escalated pretty much throughout the relationship. Kind of figured out what was going on later on. She was trying to trigger some kind of fight and makeup cycle that I guess she thought was normal. Also, this is a man talking about a woman slapping him. A couple fight, she said. The breakup culminated in her trying to stab me while simultaneously trying to bite my Johnson off. She wasn't a good person. She sounds mentally deranged. Okay, I'm going to skip a couple of these. Okay, here's one, number 84. He was on house arrest when I met him. And she put the laughing with the crying, rolling emojis after. Like, yeah, girl, because you know you was doing the absolute most. Multiple people told me that this person was crazy. I didn't listen. Her friends literally told me she was a nightmare. I thought they were jealous. Number 89, he was rude to my mom. He was still vehemently complaining about his ex even after a year, like he was still fresh. And the narrative was always one-sided with everything being her fault and how she wasted his time. Wow, as a naive 20-year-old, I just laughed it off and rolled my eyes and thought it was silly, but I didn't have the foresight, life experience, or wisdom yet to understand how these things really connect to a person's character and small-heartedness. Wow. Number 92, didn't stop initially when I said no until I yelled it. It got worse from there, but it was a slow process over years, so I didn't really notice until something horrible happened and I left. Okay, that one time that wasn't enough for you? to when they say no, you say no, and he don't listen? Hmm. Number 93, crying and curling up in the fetal position on the floor. The first time I wasn't immediately in the mood for Nook Nook, wailing about how I don't love him anymore. Can you imagine? I can't imagine if I saw that. I'd probably whip out my phone and start recording that shit so I could upload it on YouTube. Say, look at this shit right here. Yeah, we talked about that one too, Ultimate. Yeah, she rude to the mom. I'm telling you, because my brother, that heifer that he married, the youngest one, was rude to my mother, and it was the only thing I could do to keep from going to my car to San Francisco where they were and beating her ass. My brother begged me not to come to San Francisco. But I was in my house in Oakland at the time. My mother was telling me about what she had just said to her, and I was so hot. Like I said, I never disrespect my mother, ever. I just don't talk to her then. If I feel like my mouth is going to be, out of control, I just put her in the corner in the timeout and just wait till I calm down. But this bitch gonna say some like crazy shit to my brother. I haven't seen her ass since then, since they got married. I don't want to see her because I'm still mad. And that had to be 20 years ago. But you know what? I didn't realize it's about myself, but I definitely can hold a grudge. I can hold a grudge. Oh boy, I was holding that grudge. I'm still holding that grudge. My mother's been dead a couple of years. I'm still mad. I'm still mad about it. Number 94, constant breaking of boundaries in general, not taking no as an answer and being okay with coerced consent. Okay, but see, the constant is what the part that's bothering me. After they do it one time, why are you still there? What are you ladies doing? They're not going to change. He's telling you how he is. You need to accept it and pay attention. He is a man who does not respect women's boundaries. He ain't trying to hear your no. You leave a dude like that alone. Number 95, when we were just chatting and hadn't even gone on a date yet, he got arrested for stealing a motorized shopping cart when he was drunk. Oh, I guess the kind where you ride on in the store, and threatening the cop that pulled him over. He got slapped with multiple felonies that could have gotten him 10 years in prison. Somehow he squiggled out with a diversion agreement. I asked if he was ever sober, and he texted back, no, LMFAO. Instead of running like a sane adult, my dumb ass thought, hey, this guy is funny and down to earth. Wow. Coercive consent is basically an essay. That's what that is. Under the Department of Justice law, that they revised what consent is and what constitutes R in this country. When was that? 2001, something like that. Coercion is listed as, that's if you got to coerce somebody into doing something, then you have R'd them. That's what that means. So dudes need to be careful. If a woman says no, you just stop. That's where you stop. You don't do nothing else. You get up and you go home. If you continue whining and begging and pleading and trying to, get her to do it, or trying to pressure her into doing it, or, cornering her to try to get her to do it, then you are committing a crime against her. Don't say shit when your ass go down for 2 to 5 years in prison. And then what you was trying to do to her is going to happen to you, especially if you're a young dude. You can forget it. Them lifers going to see your fresh, cute little ass. And I mean that literally and figuratively. And it's going to be over for you. So you need to think about how you treat women while you're on the outside before you be on the inside and experiencing that shit yourself firsthand. It's not pretty. Okay? Think about that kind of shit. You young, cute ones, you got the little curly hair, and you small, and you know, it's over for you. Especially when like 20, 22, 5 years, it's over. It's over. Hey, mommy, good to see you. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Okay. He was getting into bar fights at 30. Who does that? So dumb. I don't know. Number 98, when he took a conversation that a friend and I were having earlier and picked it apart, supposedly finding, quote, secret code that we were using to talk about him right in front of his face. I was so gobsmacked, I think that I ended up telling myself, no, that wasn't what I thought it was. Nobody's that crazy. and then proceeded to spend 9 years being abused by him. Wow. He thought he would be able to change my mind about having a three-way after I told him I would never agree to it. Yeah, so he's going to coerce you into it. He told me that he had been discharged from the military for having antisocial personality disorder, a literal fucking sociopath. I thought, well, I can fix him, and didn't worry. He also said sometimes I just see a woman 3 times and then I disappear. We had a handful of carefully curated, incredible dates, and then he started flaking, and disappearing. He strung me along, wouldn't follow me. No, I'm sorry, wouldn't follow through on plans with me, and left me on read, which had me sobbing until 3 a.m. Okay, so once he started flaking and disappearing, what were you supposed to do that you didn't do? And that's why you ended up in this situation. See, taking shit. Just trying to hold on to a man for some reason. Just like, it's not that the man has to be even somebody who's right for you or somebody with some goddamn sense. You just want to have a warm body, and you let the man treat you any kind of way, and you stick around. Yeah, I'm not messing with nobody who's been in the military. I don't mess around with nobody who's in law enforcement in any way, shape, or form. Don't do it. Can't do it. Not gonna try. Yeah, I mean, some people are just broken. Number 105, she says, when I said no, it only encouraged him to whine, argue, bully, and beg. The last time I saw him was 20 years ago, and I still hate him with the fire of 1,000 suns. Okay, she got a career as a writer. That shit was rich. That was the fire of 1,000 suns. That was a good one. Number 106, asked me to change things about my body and anger issues. He was proud of the fights that he had been in. Once we were having an argument, he took a corkscrew and was sort of digging it into his leg because he was so angry. That scared me. In fact, that was our last fight because I broke things off, wondering if he would get angry enough to hurt me. That's right. Yeah, I'm not messing with them people in them uniforms. Not doing it. Number 108, meeting in a psych ward. I was there for a S attempt and she was there detoxing. What could go wrong? He's funny too. He would randomly block me for days, weeks, and months at a time, and then he'd come back like nothing ever happened and pretty much love bomb me and try to plan a future with me. He'd get upset about something completely unrelated to us, and then I'd get blocked again. This went on for a long time. Okay, so why though? Why did you allow that? Here's if you want to, call in, you got something you want to add to this conversation, there's a link for you to get to the stage with me and make your comment. Yeah, corkscrew. Well, the chefs, I could see, yeah, because they tired. It's the same thing with hairdressers. That's why you notice most hairdressers, they wear wigs and shit. They're not trying to braids. They're not trying to do their hair. They do hair all day. The last thing they want to do is your hair or their own. So I understand that. I can understand that. Let me do a few more of these things. Number 120, he wanted to keep our relationship a secret that I was dumb enough to play along. Road rage. Driving his sports car like an immature, thrill-seeking 17-year-old. He was 38. He kept calling me a name that was similar to mine, but it was not mine. When he said he envied me due to my accomplishments. This is number 121. My ex had to have everything perfect in his house. There was a blanket that had to be a certain way over the couch. One day I was kidding and saying, oh, this isn't right, I'd better fix it. As I was putting the blanket the way he liked, he yelled, shut the fuck up. I was shocked as I was just kidding. I thought maybe I took it too far, but later on in the relationship, I realized that was just the beginning of not being able to do anything right. Yeah, see, that's when I would have thrown the blanket on the floor, got my keys in my purse, and left. And that would have been the last time he saw me. He's not going to tell me to shut the fuck up. I mean, I can't say you can't because we're not gonna stop you, but um, that's you don't have to worry about that happening at one more time. Hmm. Number 123, she wouldn't listen. She'd ask a question, I'd start to answer it, and then she'd interrupt with some random shit unrelated to what we were talking about. Wow. The way he talked to and treated his little sister and mother. Hmm. He wanted to talk about moving in together after 2 months. Called me selfish when I said I was not willing to quit my job to move near him. He lived an hour and a half away from me in the rural area and asked me who died and made the relationship milestone expert when I said 2 months was way too early to be having that conversation. He was also 14 years older than me, but it felt like we were the same age. I now know that in itself is a red flag. No, he is not young at heart. He's just an emotionally stunted man child. That's right. That's why they feel they have to date younger women because the older women think they're just stupid and don't want to be bothered with them. My car, this is number. Now this was really interesting. Number 128, my car, which was always reliable, but when I would visit my ex, the horn would start blowing and would not stop. I think it was, or something was warning me. Yeah, some spiritual thing was trying to get your attention big time, and you just was not listening. And this one, she says, my ex told me that she had a burner account to creep on her ex and past friends and to watch their stories. Wow. This one says a guy told me about a month in that he only wanted to date me because he was mad I had ignored him the first time we met a year prior. That was a pretty big red flag, but I completely glossed over it. Why? I don't know. Wow. I done told y'all about this. That's why I never go back with exes. Because I always feel like, like a guy who you ask you to answer it, and then you finally give in. He's got an agenda. And that shit is he gonna get you back for all the times that you said no. He's gonna do his best to make you fall for him or like him, and then he's gonna dog your ass out. So if you start with a no, you stick to no till the day you die. You don't go out with him. If you break up with somebody, you don't go back because he's gonna be out to get revenge, especially if you broke up with him. So I don't mess with I don't do backwards, and any man that I rejected, he stays rejected because I'm not trying to get myself set up to be victimized like that for his ego. That's not going to happen. Number 131. I'm going to K myself and my entire family. I thought it was sarcasm. 3 years later, our relationship ended after she attempted to take both of our lives. Okay, that wouldn't that get your attention? Because I mean, what normal person says stuff like that? I mean, like I said, for you to say it, you have to be thinking it, right? Words just don't magically pop out of your mouth. They have to come into your brain first, and then they're formed into thoughts. Those thoughts are formed into words, and then they come out of your mouth. That's how it works. So if someone's saying some crazy shit like that, that means that crazy bitch is thinking that. And you, dude, what the hell? That would have been enough for me to go move to like Timbuk 3 to make sure I got away from that bitch. There's no way in this world I would have dated her. This one says he had 6 kids and 5 baby mamas. I don't even do 2 baby mamas. When he got upset and started crying because I wanted to go on a trip with my best friend, his reason was, "You've never planned anything like that for us." We had been dating for 2 months at that point. He said, "Let's have a baby. I might as well trap you. Let's just be honest. So even if you break up with me, I will be in your life forever." Uh-huh. Even though they don't say it, I talk about that. And when did I write that article? Probably 20 years ago on survivingdating.com. It's called The Baby Mama Okie Doke. This and all the other games they play to get women pregnant and how I was going to mess you up if you fall for it. Uh, it was our third or fourth date, and I drove both of us to the restaurant. I had $12 in my cup holder. I know that I had $12 in my cup holder. I drop him off, I drive home, and I realize that the $12 is missing. I texted him asking if he had seen it, and right off the bat, he was defensive and made me feel guilty for even insinuating. He did just purchase dinner for the two of us, so it didn't logistically make sense. But it turned out that he had a drug problem and it was also a bit of a klepto. So you gonna steal my $12? I'm done with your ass. Number 36, 136 rather. He invited me over to his place, and when I realized he lived in an apartment that was just one step up from being in a homeless shelter, I should have turned around and went home and never talked to him again. Instead, he conned me for a relationship, for a house, for a car, for money. It was the absolute worst thing that I've let happen to myself and my biggest source of shame and regret. Look at this one, number 137. He showed me gore videos on our first date. Number 138, a first red flag for me was when we were driving home from a party. She flipped her drunken crazy person switch and out of nowhere started to argue and yell at me for not using the Waze app. After politely telling her that it's not just something I use or feel the need to rely on, considering I've lived in the city for more than 20 years, she immediately took that as an insult, saying, well, I guess I'm just stupid and you're perfect to not need it in your life. After a 15-minute silent drive, the conversation pivoted into she doesn't know if this is going to be long term because our pets are not compatible. Blood and guts. Usually it's like what they used to call snuff films. Usually, not always. This one, number 140, he didn't let me get a second slice of pizza on our fourth date. How was he stopping you? I would have ordered my own pizza then. I'm fine, I ate as much as I want to. We were having lunch and he threw a tantrum when I said it was time for me to go back to work. Number 142, he was an hour late to our first date and you were still there? I do like a restaurant, you get 10 minutes and then your reservation is canceled. Number 143, throwing food we had just bought out the window after having a complete meltdown for no reason. This was 3 days in. I still remember how odd it made me feel, and how I never fathomed throwing good food out to prove a point. That's not even the issue about you focusing on the wrong thing. The issue here is why that was his reaction. Number 144, denied climate change on our first date and was racist and demeaning to our waiter and then accused him of flirting with me. Yuck. Oh, and you stayed on the date? I would have left. Number 146, his immense popcorn addiction and punching his friend's car window and shattering it. Good thing I saw sense despite our common interests. Number 147, I asked him not to call me a bitch when we were fighting and he said no. He said no. Number 148, he told me that he didn't believe in saying sorry or apologizing no matter what he did. The slightest inconvenience to him, though, he demanded an apology immediately. I should have known that would be 3 years of minimizing my feelings. Number 149, he said, I'm a really selfish person. And he said that multiple times within the first few months. I thought he was kidding. Why would you think he was kidding? But boy, was I wrong. He took advantage of my kindness and left me with almost $3,000 of my savings. I had to close down several PayPal accounts and repay his clients after he refused to deliver their projects. I was the middleman for currency exchange sake. Last time I spoke to him, he sent a fake MoneyGram transaction to, quote, pay me back, then disappeared. It's been years since then. I've forgiven him, but the memories taught me a valuable lesson. Number 150, he was a grown man without a job, a suspended driver's license, no plans for the future, and a whole lot of junk in his room. I was an idiot. My parents should have beat my ass after the first date and grounded me. Yes, they should have. Number 151, shaming and disrespectful communication, being called a stupid bitch out of nowhere at the beginning of my relationship. Years later, he suffocated me with dirty underwear for fun. See, but years later, what? Why would you stay there? Number 153, she told me she was a bad person, that I shouldn't date her. I spent 12 years of my life trying to prove her wrong. The other annoying thing about her was that she was always right. Number 154, he didn't tell me his real name. Or he probably had one of them street names, like, Doughboy or something, and she's calling him that. 156, when my ex's dad blew up at the dinner table and started throwing things, I got up and walked out. His dad came after me, threatening me and calling me every name in the book. I yelled at him when he tried to grab me in the driveway. What? He ran back in the house and slammed the door. Heard my ex's dad start beating his mom. My ex's response? He only does this when she does something stupid. God, she's stupid. I wish I would have dumped him right then. You didn't? But I was young, naive, and convinced myself that my ex was totally different from his dad. He was. He was a far bigger monster than his father could ever be. Wow. Number one, I'm getting to near the end of these, but these are, it's like the good ones are at the end. Number 157, she banged on my door for an hour and a half after the first time we hung out after work, even when it was clear I wasn't answering the door. She insisted on waiting outside until I did. That should have been my first warning that she has horrible boundaries. Gosh, you should have called the cops on her ass. Number 158, so many all at once that it was overwhelming and I ignored them all because I thought I was already in too deep. One in particular that really stuck out to me, though, is that when I watched him playfully slap his mom's ass really hard with an open palm. Like, what? Who does that? That's weird. The same day this happened, he also informed me that he outed me as trans to his family for my own safety. I kicked him out of my apartment after a month of letting him move in. His grandmother's response, I don't know what happened, but I'm sorry. Number 159, he said he wished nobody missed me so he could lock me in a room and keep me all to himself. Also, his mom was in love with him and said I was Satan. That's when the deliverance music starts playing. You know that one, Dueling Banjos? That's the name of the song. Number 160, when we met, his first words to me were, hi, I'm an asshole. And mine would have been, hi, I'm gone. And that would have been that. He told me that he had been swatted. That means, the SWAT team came through because he downloaded kitty popcorn. I was 16 and I was dating this man in his 20s. Number 162, he got arrested for, quote, accidentally assaulting his ex-girlfriend in an altercation, end quote. No idea how true this is, and got very rude when I tried to politely investigate it further. Number 163, pressured me into our first date by ignoring all of my no's and showing up at the end of my shift. We were coworkers with ice cream and a 12-pack. And anyway, and saying, I already got stuff, we might as well have a drink. A year later, I was being proposed to, and I was only 18, and then choked out of my sleep within days of each other. Stand on your nose and listen to your gut. Number 164, he made me cry on the first date because I didn't say I love you back. On the first date? And the last one, 165, when I was raged at within the first couple of weeks and told I was not allowed to speak at all. Now, I did skip quite a few of them, as I told you I would, because I went crazy with copying and pasting into the document. But that was very interesting study into stupid people. I mean, I can't even try to be polite about it. They saw all these signs that we just went over for the last hour, almost 2 hours, and stayed in the relationship and continued to deal with those people anyway. Criminals, druggies, violent abusers, liars, disrespectful, boundary pushers, homosexuals. I mean, all of it. All of this, every kind of loser you could think of. They were aware that the person was a loser, and yet they stayed in the relationship anyway. Does anyone have an idea of why? That's my number one question. Why would someone do that? Why do they stay in the relationship? If you want to say it on the air, here's the link. Just click it and you can talk. You can say what you got to say. Because I just can't call it. I just don't even understand. Yeah, you used to be able to do that tag switch stuff. Now they do things are done a little different. I don't know. I don't know. I buy all my stuff online. I'm not trying to go in nobody's store. I shop grocery shop on. I'm not trying to go in any crowds or anything. I think something's wrong with me. I've become antisocial. Cash App card broke. Oh, I have a Cash App card. They send it to you if you open an account. You don't really have a choice. Okay, so here we go. People are coming um, up with what they propose. Might be some reason. Okay, here we go. Scared to be alone or hurt men's feelings. That's possible, true. Poor self esteem. Oh, yeah. Okay, fear of being alone. Yeah, a lot of women say that. Oh, I don't want to be alone. Ah. Brainwashed by the fantasy of happily ever after. Don't think they can find better. You guys coming up with some good ones. Yeah, well, that is the case, Cindy. I used to not understand that, but what's become apparent to me from sitting in this seat for the last 30 years is that parents aren't parenting their daughters anymore. So all the stuff that we talk about and stuff, do you think I would have to talk about this stuff like I'm, being all remedial if they had told their daughters this stuff? I answer questions on Quora a lot, and the stuff is just so remedial. I mean, they pay me to do it, but it's like it's so remedial. And these girls absolutely, positively don't know. They don't even know stuff like basic hygiene about their own bodies. They don't know stuff. So the parents are falling down on parenting at all in many many ways. So I don't say that anymore about what these young girls should have known and got taught and getting ignored. Then nobody's telling them. They don't know. Okay, so here we go. Most men are average earners. They need you. Yep, they can't do without it. Giving them the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, Kale's suggestion. I thought I was so awesome he would change for me. Think he's the last man on the planet who would love them. Oh my God, can you imagine? Projecting my good qualities, ignoring the red flags because it's dating potential. The societal pressure to be in a relationship without vetting the man. Also, they focusing more on the relationship than who they in the relationship with. And this is a possible reason why the mothers are still unhappy and put up with a lot. Yeah, I think a lot of times the girls are, they're modeling behavior that was demonstrated to them growing up. So there's no one in their circle that's telling them, yeah, I know that's your mama, and I know those were her relationship, but your mama's stupid and desperate and a garden tool. So you don't want to live your life like that. Do something different. But if no one's around because everybody around them is doing the same shit, what they have no basis for comparison. I mean, to them, that is the norm. So, of course, they're going to do that. And then they meet me. And it's like, well, them women is on some bullshit. Don't model yourself after them. And then the girls be like, what? No one's ever told me that before. Yeah, they don't want to be fixed you right. You made a song? Sure. Please send it down to survivingdating@gmail.com. I want to hear it. Women are the new rehab facilities. Yep. And they be doing the shit for free. The mothers have now produced useless sons, which are unpartnered because the women have raised their standards. Yep. And the men are getting mad, but a lot of them are going to other men. So I mean, they can find love. They just not gonna find it with some woman with standards. They can find it with a dude though. Lack of knowing their worth. Yes. You're treated as if you can't get a man. Well, people gonna always throw that out there because they have to make themselves feel better about their state of desperation. Don't let that get to you. Just my standard line when they start talking about stuff is like, oh, so you trying to get me to be in the trick bag with you and be as miserable and desperate as you are just to have a man? No, thank you. Because I'm not seeing where your life is so great, grand, and wonderful with that clown you with. So why would I want to emulate that? I'm gonna stay over here where I'm happy. I got all my money, and I do what the fuck I want to do. And look, I don't have lines and wrinkles in my face like you do. I have gray hair though, but they be looking so old and stuff. The men be wearing them out. Exactly, because they sure be crying about it. Ooh, they be mad. Women have too much power. They're not choosing us anymore. That's why there's so many single men. What is it called? The true forced loneliness movement. Yeah, they really don't. It's like, is she breathing? She don't even have to be of legal age. As we all know that. She can be super old. She can be super young. They don't care. So, she can be stupid. She can be like have birth defects, all kinds of shit. I know. Tell me about this lady I saw walking around the lake pushing a stroller with a baby in it. That was her baby. Because I asked her, I said, is that your baby? She said, yeah. She couldn't really talk that well, but she said yes. And I'm telling you, this girl's arm was all fucked up and she was walking all herky jerky and something was going on with her eyes, like they was like tilted or something, not aligned right. And she was had all kind of issues going on. But she had a baby. I'm like, wow. I didn't know what to say. Yeah, right here in Lake Merritt in Oakland. She puts the baby walking around the lake. I was like, wow. Yeah. It started, and that's the thing that started in Japan or Korea, over there somewhere. That 4B movement, them girls ain't bothered about these men at all. And it's spreading. Women are just getting tired of men. And they're shit. I don't know. I think that number's changing though, because that's what the statistic I was reading the other day were saying by 2040, 2045, I think it is. 2040, 25, something. Anyway, 45% of women will be single and childless. And I was disappointed that the number wasn't higher. So, yeah. They want you to feel, there has to be some kind of way to try to turn your mind around and get control over you because they don't want you being too free and happy with yourself. So they try to flip it around and make it seem like there's something wrong with you for being single and you should be, you don't even have a man and men are this, so the men try to hold themselves out to be a prize. And like I said, all you have to do is look at the women who are in relationships and how much they're suffering and the wives and how much they're suffering. Why would you aspire to replicate that? I'm like, there are some happy marriages out there, but they're in the minority. The majority of them are fucked up. And you can tell that by how much of them end up in divorce court with abuse and all kind of shit. Even if they're married, the woman's paying for everything and the man's not holding up his fair share. He's sliding into people's DMs. All kind of bullshit's going on. But she married though. I'm calling Raquel. I'm trying to get my headphones together here. Oh, this is a good one. What Cindy just put up here. Karen, giving yourself to people who don't care about you. Ooh, child, yes. Okay, let me get Raquel in here. What's up, Chicky?
Hey, Deb, can you see me?
No, we're just in
Oh,
there with audio.
okay, because I look a mess. I did not want to be on camera.
No, I have it set up so that all my guests are just um, audio only.
Okay. Well, I was just calling just to chit chat before our little Friday get together. But I just wanted to say, girl, my man was about 170 of the red flags, and I stayed. Girl, I don't understand it.
What happened? No, what had happened to it did? Why did you do that?
Well, I mean, when I first met him, he was all good and everything was great. And, I was young, basically growing up, my dad was very, very overprotective. So I didn't have, a lot of dates and all that kind of stuff. So when I got with him, I didn't really understand what a narc was and all that kind of stuff. I was like, ooh, he loved me. He don't want me to be around nobody but him. Crazy. And then as time went on, I started realizing it. Then I found your channel and I was like, oh, it's time for him to go. He got to get out of here. So
Good for
it
you.
took some time. It took some time, but I finally did it.
Good for you. She said it was 170 in a red flag.
If not more. I mean, it could have been more.
Oh, well, I mean, that's what it's all about, though. You live and learn. You start when you're young, you don't really know anything. And you live by, you learn by suffering. And then you come out the other
Yeah.
end because you be all wise and old like me. And they can't run no games on you at all.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Now there's no. I'm like I said. My motto is WWDD every day. I'm choosing violence all the time. Don't try to talk to me. I'm good. Get away from me. So
Yeah,
yes. Yeah. I don't have time for it.
yeah. Don't ain't trying to get it either.
Exactly.
All
But
right.
I
Well, I'll be
just
in
wanted to
touch
give
because
you a quick little shout.
yeah, I will give you the information for the show on Friday. I'll email it to you or call you or something.
Okay. Well, thanks, Deb. Talk to you
Okay.
later.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
All right, you guys. Um, yeah, she's gonna come and co-host with me on Friday to do the DNN. I was like, oh, that'll be good because sometimes, I'll be getting tired looking at all that dust. I just it exhausts me looking at all that dustiness. But I hope that you guys, that this conversation, even though it was kind of hard and eye rolling at times, I hope that there's a lot of good information that you can take away to, and if you've made some of these mistakes and let some of these kind of red flags fly in your world in the past, that you don't do that anymore in the future. Learn from other people's mistakes. That's what you're supposed. That's a sign of intelligence. You don't have to make every mistake that everybody else did. Go make new ones, exciting new ones. But you should have learned there was 165 examples tonight, plus the ones that was posted in the chat room of red flags that people are warning you to look for. So if you didn't get a chance to look at the chat stream on YouTube, please come take a look at it. It processes it. It probably won't be up and available till tomorrow, but take go scroll through it line by line, take your notes because they gave some very good tips here. And then all the tips that I read that came from other people. And we'll be back on Tuesday with What the Fuck Tuesday uh, this week because I have to do it on Tuesday and that's just what's going to happen. All right, then I will see you guys. Enjoy your holiday tomorrow. Don't eat too much. I already made my barbecue sauce. I'm ready. And I will take a picture of my stuff and show it to you what I cook. I'll show it to you on Tuesday. Okay, talk to you guys later. Bye bye.